Hello viewer and listener, welcome to Desert Mamba production, where today we have a few things on board to discuss. Our main point of discussion is on gender-based violence, which is abbreviated as GBV.
Yeah, GBV is a very sensitive conversation that people should tackle on, and people should come out, speak. And today, by the way, we will be joined by an advocate for GBV, that's Ruth Okoth, who will help us to tackle this topic.
Yes, so audience out there, be ready for this wonderful conversation because you're going to learn more from it. If you have any question, you can hit on the comment section. And remember, at Desert Mama Production, we prioritize your interest.
And now we will be joined by Ruth Okoth. Please, Ruth, can you tell us about yourself kindly?
Okay, thank you very much. Ruth Okoth, GBV advocate from Sia County, working specifically in Ogunja sub-county.
All right, what do you mean by you are a GBV advocate? What do you do?
Mostly I work with adolescents and most community members in Ogunja sub-county. It matters with GBV, so anybody who is undergoing GBV, we know how to help them so that at least they can get justice.
And when you talk about GBV, what are the forms of GBV? We have forms of GBV.
There are various forms of GBV. One of them is sexual, where in sexual we have rape, defilement. Those are the major examples under sexual form of GBV. And then we have physical. These ones are things that can bring harm to the body. For example, maybe beating, killing with weapon or without weapon, maybe kicking someone. Then we have also psychological. The psychological form of GBV, that one brings about the trauma in someone's mind, and also it interferes with someone's mind. And through those ones are maybe, for example, using an abusive word to someone, you are causing them psychological problem, and also using threatening someone.
All right, when you say you've mentioned 3 instances, and the first one was sexual, and under sexual you said there is rape and defilement. Rape is a word that most of us are familiar with. There are some who might ask now, what is defilement?
Defilement is forcing someone who is under 18 to engage with sexually. And now rape is now forcing someone who is over 18. And you find most people in the community, they normally use rape to refer maybe if a child, they say, my child was raped. When you go to court with that, maybe you will find so many challenges and difficulties because they will say, this is a minor, under 18. She didn't consent of having sexual intercourse, meaning it is defilement. But you find yourself reporting is as my child was raped. So they will say that there is a mix-up somewhere. So you want to get that justice as it's needed to be.
Okay, does it mean that when you go to court, there are specific words that you should be using? Because, these things might happen to someone who is at home. He or she is not aware of the words, which word to use and where to use it. So, as a GBV advocate, how do you make them aware of the right choice of word to use when it comes to court matters?
During the sensitization that you are doing in the community, that is where you elaborate to them so that they can understand each and every form of GBV. So at least maybe when some prefer going direct maybe to the police, some prefer coming to us. So when someone has come to you, you tell the person maybe what to say, to put that thing in appropriate way so at least when the person goes to maybe the police or the children's place, at least the person is using the right terms. Because also in the terms, sometimes we are being messed up because of the terms we are using.
And in case anyone wants to report a case on GBV, what are the steps that anyone can take from step 1 to the last step?
It depends with the kind of GBV. There are some you go first to the children office, so the children officer is the one taking you to the court. There are some you are going to the hospital first. From the hospital you go to police station, then from police station you go to court. So it depends which kind of GBV.
Okay, would you mind explaining to us one by one, or on which instance should you go to the children's home first, and on what instance should you first visit the hospital?
Okay, for example, when a child is being abused at home, let's say for example the physical one, now beating. Beating, yes, sometimes some prefer going to the hospital, some prefer going to the children's officer. Now you go to the children's officer at least to take letter from the children's officer. That letter is what will help you now to proceed to the police station to get the OB number and then proceed to court. But cases like maybe defilement or rape, you need to rush to the hospital as fast as possible within 72 hours, so that at least you can be examined, you get the result from the hospital, and going to the hospital also will help you not contract diseases like HIV and AIDS. Also, maybe the drugs they are giving you will help you prevent pregnancy. So at least with that, it will help you go to the police station, and then from the police station you go to court.
Okay, before we dig deep into the defilement or rape case, let's embark on this issue of children. When you go to court, you should have some evidence. What if a child is undergoing gender-based violence at home, but there is totally no evidence, or maybe, if you're beaten, maybe there are some bruises on your face or on your body. What if such thing doesn't happen? How do you report? Because if you go to the police station, many a times, they'll ask for the provision of evidence.
You find for a child to go maybe to the police or to the children's office, that thing is persisting and it's beyond control. So also the police or the children officers, they will take their time to examine in case there is no evidence. So now they will come to the ground at least to get the evidence from themselves. So that one is what they will use. Because maybe a child can come, is not even clear, but the pain the child is undergoing is beyond control. So they'll take their time, they take the initiative, and then they examine, maybe they go to the homestead, or maybe they can use someone else to help them with the situation. And at some point, while doing that, they keep the child maybe at the probation, or they keep the child with them. Because in most cases, you find most families, when a child reports a matter, the child is not safe, the environment is not safe for the child to be in it. So they prefer maybe you take a child from there, and then you do examination, you collect your data, you collect your evidence.
So do you have shelters for GBVs?
Sorry?
Do you have shelters, as in where they can stay for a period of time?
Yeah, in Siaya County, we only have one. We only have one where they can stay at least.
Okay, and you mentioned something to do with probation. What exactly did you mean by that?
Probation, that is where maybe now children are, maybe they get support from the probation officer.
again the word probation is appearing. Like, make the listener understand what exactly you mean by probation. Like, for example, if you go to look for a job and someone says, I'm still on probation, kumaanisha bado wanamwangalia waone kama hii job atapewa ya ukweli ama something. So in terms of GBV or in the children's office or department, what do you mean by probation or probation's officer?
Probation, that is where maybe, for example, they take their time maybe now to get the justice. There are some people also who doesn't have, like, for example, witnesses. So maybe they take the probation officer now will help them.
Okay, we are done with the one for children. Now we can move to the rape and defilement case. Anything elaborate concerning rape, defilement?
As in, I gave up the definition. So I think definition give it all.
Okay.
And I also highlighted the channels someone can use maybe when the person is defiled or raped.
Okay, you told us the channel, but now what is the procedure that one should follow?
That one should follow when the person is defiled or raped.
Yes.
Okay. When the person is defiled or raped, we are normally advising them, or it is normally being advised that they should not take bath, and then after not taking bath, they rush to the hospital. And don't change your clothes, just go with the clothes that you are having. And in case you are not comfortable in the cloth, maybe the cloth is torn, or maybe you are not just comfortable, take the cloth with you to the hospital. Don't put the cloth in a polythene paper, because when you put it in a polythene paper, maybe there are normally some moist coming out from the polythene paper, and then it won't be that good. The evidence, maybe like fingerprints, won't appear. But if you take it, maybe you take it in a wool bag, or you take it maybe with you, just with you, at least the evidence will be there.
Okay, so you've said when a rape or defilement case occur, no taking bath. What if the incident occurred in such a way that you can't walk in that, like, I'm trying to imagine someone who has been defiled, talking of a child, and a child is someone who maybe hasn't broken his or her virginity, and then you find that there is blood all over the body. How will you maybe move when you're in that condition until you reach the hospital?
So long as you want to help the child, it's better you go just with the child that way. Maybe from the hospital, then most hospitals have bathrooms. So maybe from there, after the examination is done, maybe the child can take bath. Yeah.
Okay, for a child,
it's advised, yeah.
For a child, it is possible because the parent will have to accompany the child to the hospital. What if someone like me, I've been raped, and then I am the one who is supposed to take a step of going to the hospital so that I can be checked on? Now, what will I do if everything is messed up, my body, like I can't even walk, where in these streets, like totally nothing can happen?
We all know that rape is done when you doesn't give consent to it. So for you, if you want justice, and if you want full evidence to prevail, at least just walk. Usikuwe na aibu. Wewe tembea tu uende hospitali.
Okay, that is a little bit tough because I'm trying to imagine vile mimi najaribu kujiweka hapo. Mimi hiyo kitu imenifanyikia na nataka kwenda hosi, na hosi yenye nataka kwenda si karibu na mimi
3 kilometers away,
si ndio? And then like I have to walk, labda sina hata, you know, it's something you never planned. Maybe ulienda like tuseme wenye wako ushago, umeenda kusiaga mahindi, ukatoka hapo kwa kusiaga, then ukakutana na janga hilo. Sasa utafanya aje hata kama advice
well maybe hiyo kama tendo inafanyika, you won't just keep quiet. Now you say the person has overpowered me, let the person finish what he wants to do and then leave me. You will be using force, you will be screaming. While screaming, you will attract people. There are some people, nice people, will be helping you. At least maybe the boda people, they can offer you transportation to the hospital, so they might help you.
Okay, something is still not in sync. I don't know, Babi. Something is not adding up, cause I'm trying to imagine mimi nimekuwa raped, alafu nataka ku gather that courage ya kwenda hosi, lakini nikijiangalia niko na damu kila mahali. Ninaanza aje? Afu a girl at my age, unajua kuna miaka ikifika unakuanga tu you're shy, you don't want people to see. Labda uko na crush mahali. How do you go about that?
And what if Ruth nimekuwa raped, si ndio? Naweza change nguo basi, alafu ile nibebe kwa kitu.
Yeah.
Siji wipe but na change tu nguo. Kupunguza aibu. Hakuna haja kuannounce kila mtu that I was raped.
Yeah, you can, but it depends also imekupata wapi.
Oh.
Yeah, so it depends.
Okay, this depending is becoming tough, but anyway, umesikia, ukijipata kwa shida, my friend, just gather the courage. Niwe unahitaji usaidizi. Kama Babi umepata shida hapo, ulikuwa umeenda tu safari zako ukakutana na
rape naye ni kitu ja plan.
Yeah, you don't plan. Sasa unaamua tu acha tu nifike hapa hosi kwanza. Hata hii unga nilikuwa nimetumwa kwenda kusiaga, tutasort baadaye, si ndio?
Yeah. Anyway, Ruth, apart from rape, your defilement, is there any other form of GBV?
Maybe family conflict. And at times, maybe when we talk about, maybe there's also economic violence. So this is where maybe you as a woman, it normally happens to most women. You as a woman, maybe you have your property, and then you are being denied that ownership of that property because you are a woman. That one also is a form of violence.
Okay, something has hit my mind when you've talked about something to do with property and the women. Like you find that in a setup, let me lean on one side a little bit. You find that in a homestead where there are many boys, and maybe we say you're one girl, so maybe the girl decides that she doesn't want to get married. Let's say you are 4 boys and 1 girl, and then the girl starts to say that she also wants, unajua huko kwetu watu wanagawiwa shamba, yeye pia anataka gawiwe shamba, alafu hii ilete vurugu between the lady and the brothers. Is that also a form of GBV, or that is out of it?
It is a form of GBV, as Kenyan law nowadays allow women to own lands.
Okay, right.
And which form of GBV is common yenye iko sana sahi hapa Kenya? Sexual.
Yeah.
Na alafu kuna hii GBV sijui ya physical. Utadifferentiate aje between a normal fight and an abusive? Ndio ujue hii ni GBV.
A normal fight and abusive. So, you know, normal fight is a disagreement between 2 people. It's normally a disagreement. That is what normally leads to a fight. But now, when it comes to GBV, ni ile mtu anataka kupiga ile ya kuua. But it's not, you will find maybe one party, it doesn't even have anything to say. one party is very innocent, but it's only one party mwenye analeta shida.
Okay, if you
that's
say
what normally happens in maybe homestead families.
If you say normal fight is a disagreement between two people, I've just thought about something. We are talking about GBV, gender-based violence. What if there is some conflict or some violence between me and Barbie? She's a lady, I'm a lady. How will we term that? And maybe this thing will cause me trauma, everything. I will be tortured psychologically, physically, emotionally. Where will you place that? Does it still fall under GBV?
When you have a normal fight.
Yeah, with my friend Barbie, we are all ladies. Where do we categorize that? Is it still GBV?
At points, I can say at points it can be GBV when it leads to you being traumatized, you doesn't have peace, maybe you have physical injuries. Yeah.
So does it mean when we are talking about gender-based violence, sio lazima iwe that ni kitu imetokea kati ya male and female. Inaweza kuwa female and male and male, female and female.
Yeah.
Okay, that's strange.
At least we are learning, ama?
Yeah.
And but nini ufanya mtu like abusive marriage, si ndio? Mzee amekwambia nitakupiga. Why do you think people stick in that marriage?
Because of love. It's because of love, and also some stick in the marriage because walishapeleka mahari kwenye babako alishauza ng'ombe, so una option. Wakikwambia urudishe mahari au manage, wazazi hawata manage kurudisha.
Sasa
you doesn't have any option. Some doesn't have any option. Some it's because they lack education. They are not empowered. They doesn't know anything about GBV, about anything. Some also claim that they love the person. Ndoa ni kuvumiliana.
Sasa kabla tuulize kama wanaume pia wanakuwa victims, something is not adding up somewhere. Unasema ati juu sasa ulishaolewa akalipa mahari, inamaanisha kuwa sisi wanawake wakati ambapo tumeolewa ukienda kwa bwana, like now you belong to the man, you cannot go back kwenu hata kama unapigwa ama namna gani?
Some it is not the actual thing, but marriage is the agreement between two people.
Yeah.
And now maybe the person is seeing herself like, I don't have any option. There are some men that do threatens women in their houses, their wives. So you find that maybe the person is threatening you and is telling you like, nilipeleka ng'ombe kwenyu, kama umeamua kwenda niachie watoto uende na unirudishie mali. So you find it like, let me just stay because I have no any other option. Some are married because it's not everybody who is married because they are willing.
Yeah.
Some maybe they were married because maybe, for example, they had maybe they were pregnant, and because they were forced out of their home states, they find a man who maybe they doesn't even love, so they get married. Some also it's a child marriage. Mzazi amekuforce enda uolewe. So you find that with that you doesn't have any option. When a man beats you, he doesn't have anywhere to go to. It's your home you can run to, and it's the same parents that are living there are the same people who forced you into a marriage. So you doesn't have option. But some claim it's love. I love this person, so let me just stay. There's nothing I can do.
Just a question to the audience outside there. Would you rather stay in a marriage that you're beaten up, or leave the marriage and be at peace with yourself?
You know, Nyarobura.
Yes.
Some people believe that ndio ufeel you are loved. Lazima
upigwe. Vitu kaa hizo zimepitwa na wakati babi.
Lazima uchapwe. Hivyo ndio wanafeel you love me.
Some cultures it depends. You know, not everybody has left culture behind. Some who are still following the cultures, and some still believes that bwana kama amekupenda lazima akupige. Kichwa itafunguka.
Mimi mapenzi ya kupigwa
hapana.
Hapo inakuwa ngumu. But is it something that is acceptable when we look at laws of our land?
It's not.
Okay, now to the next question, Babi.
Let's really side ya wanaume. Do men report GBV? Men
doesn't report.
Why?
That is why statistics in Kenya is only women, girls, children. Men doesn't report maybe because they fear embarrassment, they fear shame, they fear discrimination, stigmatization in the community. They find maybe like if I report maybe my wife was beating me, how will my friends take me? How will people take me? So they see it like, let me just stay, the wife just beat me and I'll stay, but I won't share. That is why you find when you find men, they are having many mental problems.
Yeah.
Because what they are undergoing a lot, but in silence.
Could this be the reason why ukienda kwa hizi soko waenda wazimu wengi ni wanaume?
I can't tell.
Okay, I'm just trying to overthink.
Okay. Me, I think men tu wako tu na shida. Juu utapata mwanaume anaambia mwanaume mwenzake shida yake, alafu anakuambia kwani umelewa? Na wewe anakuambia shida yake. So we should empower men.
Unapigwa bibi anakupiga.
Anaanzaje?
Kwani umelewa?
Kwani umeacha kuoa?
I think we should empower men, by the way.
Okay, now on such instances, what is your role as the GBV advocate to help the men out of this situation?
You know, after doing sensitization to the community, it comprises of men and women. There, they now know what they need to do. You just give them, you empower them, but the choice is within them. The choice is within the men. Maybe after them being empowered, it's upon them to make the choice. If I decide not to tell someone, it's upon them. But you cannot force. Maybe you'll get rumors, so and so is being beaten by the wife. But you can't just, if you go there, maybe you ask the person and says, no, what will you do? There's nothing you can do about it because the person is denying.
And now, you said, first of all, you're a GBV advocate. And while doing sensitization, we have the children, we have the men, and we have the women. Now, does it mean that when you're doing your sensitization programs, you talk to them all at once? Unaongea na wanaume, wanawake, pamoja na watoto wakiwa wameketi pamoja?
Most children, they are school going. So we have programs in schools within Unguja Sub-County. So with them, we meet them normally at schools. And then coming to the community now, let's talk of the community. You'll find maybe some might be having session like, you find most border people are men. Most of the majority are men. So with that, you will get men. And then maybe you find maybe if you go to a church, maybe a church consists of many women compared to men. And in community also, maybe if you want, it depends with what do you want. You need to study the community. There are some men that can talk in front of women, but there are some men, they shy away. They doesn't talk maybe in front of women. So you need to look at the approach method. Which method, if you use this method, which method can you use at least to get the attention of the community so that the community can get what you are trying to give them.
And by the way, kuna watu wengine, they come report their cases, then later on they will come and drop. Why do people drop cases?
People drop cases because maybe the threats they are receiving. The threats they are receiving maybe back from the community, maybe from the person who did the incident, maybe the person who raped a child, maybe. There are some cases a father rapes the child. So with that, you find maybe the child is forced to go back to that home. The environment is not safe. And then also, people from the community will start mocking that child because it's maybe the child that has reported or it's the wife that has reported. So they will start mocking the family and say, unaenda kureport bwanako surely. Are you really normal? Is something wrong with you? And then some also, they fear being criticized in the community.
Okay, that brings me to the next question. I don't know whether it's a backup or you'll elaborate on it a bit. Like, let's say, for example, something has happened. For example, this rape case, it's like a big thing. It's a very big thing. So, you find that the way you've said a father raping a daughter or something, then unapata wenye wako kwa hiyo familia hawezi jitokeza kwenda kureport such a case kwa sababu first of all you're protecting the name of your family. Second, utaki mtoto aibike. You know, when that thing happen, mtoto hawezi hata kutagusana na wengine vile inafaa. Sasa watu kama hao, what do you do to help them out of such a situation?
There are some things you cannot do. They normally say maybe in Luo, maybe the snake has entered into a calabash. So, with that, they will say that you cannot take the snake outside the calabash. It has entered the calabash. So there's nothing you can do. So there's some things, maybe if they denied it, yes, you know it's a rape case, but they denied it. There's no person who is going maybe as a witness. With that, you just leave it because there's nothing you can do. You had a heart of helping, but because the family is really denying.
So,
and also some they give bribe maybe to the police or they take bribe to the court. So maybe today, maybe you are given maybe the next day. They normally give dates. So maybe you are given the next date of the visit, maybe from September 9. When you go there, you find the file is lost. They've given bribe and they find someone has disappeared with the file. So the case will stand still until they find the file, of which in most cases, circumstances or cases, they normally don't find the file.
So in short, as a society and justice, we fail many people because hiyo inamaanisha if I see hii jumba kuna domestic violence, I'll keep quiet. Then we will wait kitumbaye kishafanyika in case of murder, then ndio tutatoka huyo mtu alikuwa mbaya, nilijua tu. So as a society, we are failing people, our fellow citizens. Sama Nyarugura.
Yeah, because you find that there are things that ought to have been reported earlier to prevent a certain issue from being into place. Then unapata mtu amenyamaza nayo, ikishafanyika ndio watu wanaanza
kusema
akina vile alikuwa anapigwa nilijua tu atakuja kukufa siku moja.
So as a society we should change.
Yeah. We should at least tutoke hapo kwenye tunaona every man for himself. At least we start caring about one another kwa sababu
each other's keeper.
Yeah, you never know who can be there for you next time. And then another thing, you as the GBV advocates, what do you do to ensure that all these things come to an end?
Normally we do have when you have empowered the community, now they know what is right and what is wrong. So with that, you are being assured that this is now right thing, and if I do this, this is wrong thing. Then we have stakeholders. Those ones are maybe the chiefs, the police people, those people from the authorities, government, children office, and then you come together. Because you are into the community that the challenges. Because during the sensitization they tell you, this is the problem, this is the problem, this is where we are failing. So, but when they have come together now, you tell them the feedback you've gotten from the community. The community is saying this and this and this. The police should change. The police people should not take bribes because maybe they see that the other party maybe is from a vulnerable home or is vulnerable. They should not use the vulnerability of a person to take advantage, but rather they should just see that justice is prevailed.
Yeah, and I know that in every profession there are some challenges. So as an advocate, what are the challenges that you people face?
Challenges that people face mostly maybe confidentiality. We are normally being told that you need to have confidentiality, but there are some circumstances, maybe a child is telling you something. You need maybe to confront the parent of the child. With that, you've broken the confidentiality because you are now telling the third party the situation. Maybe the child trusted you with that, you won't tell, but you want to help the child. You cannot help the child if the parent is not aware of the situation. Maybe akienda shule mwalimu anamshika matiti, matako nini, and the child is not now comfortable, but back at home also, there are some parents are unapproachable. You cannot approach them with a case. They will say you are lying. There are parents who normally say, wewe unadanganya. Yani hata uende na jambo gani, hujaisema ukweli. You are normally lying. So they will find, hata nikiambia mama, atasema nadanganya tu. So they come with you with a case, but you see it. Now anakuja mara ya kwanza, anakuja ya pili. You see, this is now is a serious thing. You go to the parent, you ask the person, mbona umeambia mzazi sijaambia, mbona mama huyu ni mkali, hata achekangi. So you find you need to go to the parent at least, because there are some things the parent need to consent before you do them. So you need to go to the parent at least to get that privilege.
Now, with all that said, what are the role of parents in making an attempt to end gender-based violence, more so when it comes to their kids?
Parents need to be close with their children. Mm-hmm. We normally tell parents that this generation is not maybe the generation when they were growing up. They need to study their children. You just start a conversation. Because as children also, they fear parents most. You just start a conversation with your child, and when you're close with your child, you will get to know many things that maybe you are not aware of. Even like, for example, unaangalia tu maybe kipindi mtoto wako anapenda. Like say maybe tuseme like baking citizen. So you just start a conversation. From there, you will learn to know. You will just start like, huyu Trisha anakaa aje, huyu unamwona aje, msichana mzuri, and from that maybe the child now will open up and gives you the perspective. From there now you start empowering the child. These and these and these. Now the child will open up.
The police officers, how are they helping in terms of bringing? Okay, we are not saying it's ending, because I don't know whether it will end. Making an attempt to at least reduce the rate at which gender-based violence is occurring.
Police officers.
Yeah.
The police officers are the people who normally, we say that they are the people on the ground, because it's them. Kesi inapelekwa kwa police station. So it's them to help get the justice. Because police officer akishachukua bribe, he or she will be against you. And akiwa against you, you won't get justice.
Okay, and now maybe just we are seeing time is not on our side. We are almost winding up. How does gender-based violence affect a child who is growing in such a setup?
Maybe psychologically, the child will want to be right psychologically, and also maybe when the child has grown, the child, you will find the child is very violent.
Mm-hmm.
In most cases, if you look at the family history of these people who are beating up their wives, you just beat your wife, maybe there's nothing big that the child has done. You just start maybe violence. You'll find maybe their great that thing is running in their blood. So it really affects, and also their children also will carry the problem to their own selves. Also, it's continuous.
Okay, and now maybe just to clarify to our audience, could it be you find nowadays there are many instances that kuna wanaume hawataki kuoa, wanawake hawataki kuolewa, maybe ni juu ya vile walilelewa ama vitu wameona ikifanyika kwa majirani. Because just the other day I was talking to a friend, then the friend was telling me there is no need kuoa cause mimi nikiona vile mamangu alikuwa anatritiwa na babangu sioni haja. Does it have a long term or short term impact, or it can be both?
It can be both.
Mm-hmm. Elaborate.
Some maybe the violence that are happening in the home state, some do take them negatively, and they say like, I won't get married because I cannot be married. Maybe they say you cannot know the man, you are the type of a man. Maybe the man can change. So you are getting married and then you'll be beaten, you'll be abused, you'll be threatened, you won't have peace at home. So they're saying, let me just stay on my own. Some also, they are more empowered. So they say, I can stay on my own. I don't need to get married. So that's also is one of the factors. But some, they say maybe the trauma from the childhood. There are some people, they were defined when they were children. So they just grow up hating men. And with that, it affects them. So they say, there's nothing I can do with a man. I cannot get married with a man.
Ruth, do you have anything else to add as we wind up?
What I can add is just, in case you are experiencing gender-based violence, just go to a nearest police station or anyone you trust. If you are a child, or maybe if you are an adult and you cannot go by your own, maybe just go to someone you trust, and then from there, at least you can get justice. Let justice prevail. And also to our community members and the society, just as you said earlier, let's report these cases. Let's help our community. Let's do away with gender-based violence in our communities. And one person cannot manage to clear maybe, or in Siaya County is big, or maybe Kenya is big. It is not, one person cannot manage to finish gender-based violence. It's you. You can help your neighbor at least to get justice, and with that, if you have maybe a knowledge, you can help us empower more people. So at least gender-based violence, we can do away with it.
Okay, maybe the last one and a very quick one. In the next 5 or 6 years, as a gender-based violence advocate, this issue of gender-based violence, tutakuwa tumemalizana nayo ama tutakuwa tumeipunguza tu ama itakuwa imeongezeka? Unaona aje, maoni yako?
What I know, the issue of gender-based violence will, by 6 years, the percentage won't be that high. The percentage will reduce.
Right. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Ruth, for joining us. This was an awesome discussion that is of great teachings, it's educative, right?
Yeah.
Now, before you leave, maybe I just want you to talk to the men. Wanaume wako na shida. Maybe waambie jambo moja la mwisho ile yenye mtu akisikia, mtu akiwatch tu hii video hivi, huyo mwanaume aisikie, itasink kwa akili yake na ajue I should be doing this.
Okay, kwa wanaume inaweza waambia in case you experience gender-based violence, at least open up. Silence will kill you, because ukinyamazia kitu inakuumiza ndani, but at least let's just come up, share with maybe a friend, share with someone you trust, at least for you to be helped as early as possible.
All right,
thank you. Men, please talk. Kuna namba hapo chini, talk to us. Ama General.
Yeah, they should tell us. But one thing I've got from this conversation, we've been empowering women when it comes to gender-based violence, but then you find the men are left out. So, mwanamume, nyamazia shida yako at your own risk. This thing will kill you, my friend, and I'm telling you, learn to speak up. Like, hata kama unapigwa na mke. Wewe sema tu wenzangu nilioa mke lakini
imetosha.
Okay, Ruth, thank you very much for joining us. You are really of great help and we've learned a lot.
Thank you
for hosting me.
You're welcome. Now, Barbara.
Yeah.
What can you say? What can you add? Because we are winding up.
Okay. On GBV. Should I start with men or women?
Just a general vile unaiona.
As a society, let's look out for each other. Tusingoje kitu ifanyike ndio tukue witnesses. Hiyo haibambi.
It's not bringing. Yeah.
And to the rest.
Who are the rest?
Couples, those who are in a relationship. Before you settle down, hebu mkae chini. Mjue each other.
Sasa wewe unasema mkae chini, yet kuna wale unapata a situation whereby we are dating at college, then mzae ajui, then mimba ikatokea, mzae akasema you have to live with this man, you have wachana na come stay. Mzazi amekulazimisha, hawataki the legitimate, wanaitwa illegitimate or legitimate, I don't know.
Zote.
Sasa mzazi hataki ati maybe kwao ati hakuna mtu aliwahi za kama baada hajaoa nje ya ndoa. Now hapo utakaa
Nyarobura ukidate na mtu hii time mimba inaingia 1 month ujalani mtu hata je kuekea nini coffee.
What if unajua as ladies mtu anaweza kufichia white for even 5 years, ujui huyu mtu ni mtu aina gani? What will you do in that situation? Kuna wenye wanajua kuficha white baby
5 years,
5 not even 5.
Bachelor in pretense.
Am I lying? Listener and viewer.
Bachelor in pretense.
Wanaweza kuficha white. I don't know whether my audience wanaelewa kuficha white. Like you want to know wanaelewa kuficha white.
Wanajua, they know.
Kuna mtu anaweza tu kuficha white. Sasa mimi sijui hadi vile naweza advise mtu mwenye amejipata kwa ndoa lakini
but you just walk out.
Walk out.
Walk out.
Guest ametuambia ndoani.
Huwezi vumilia.
Okay, personally, this is according to Brenda Obura.
Nyarobura.
Kuvumilia shida ni mbaya. Usiwache shida ikuzoe. Kama mbaya. Hii maisha hakuna spare part.
We are not rehearsing.
Yes. Mtu akishakuua you are ended, you are done. Place yako imeisha hivyo, wewe umekufa, amebaki akiendelea. Kwanza kama ni mwanaume atabaki kutafuta mwanamke mwingine. Yeah, that's true. Unajua mwanamke maybe ushaishi na mtu for 20 years ukakuwa aged, unajua utaolewa tena. It's very difficult, but for men hata akifika 80 my friend ataenda apate mpoa wake mwingine.
A small one.
Anyway,
small package.
This discussion is not going to end. But anyway, remember, this is the Sakmamba production, and our main aim is to prioritize your interests. My God, nimeongea hadi nikasahau tunakwanga na fan page blah blah blah. Okay, remember TikTok tunapatikana at
Desert Mamba Production,
Facebook
Desert Mamba Production,
Twitter
at Desert Mamba P.
Yeah.
Till next time, it's a wrap.
Thank you very much for viewing and for listening. Kindly, as Nyakwar Masheti always says, subscribe, give us
like,
a thumbs up,
and share.
Thank you.
Comments zikuja hapo chini.
Ziflow.
Tutazisoma by the way.
Yeah, we are here for you.
Experience zao about GBV.
By the way, if you have an experience and you'd like to share with us, in our language, DMP, we said, for those who can understand this Chinese language I'm about to speak, we said Wondi, Muanduni, called Pachi. Now what we want is your Pachi. For those who don't understand Pachi, Pachi means your thoughts or your view or your opinion, whichever. Depending on this, na shule ulienda, sio?
Shule ulipitia.
Yeah, so your voice and your opinion, view, blah blah blah, share it with us. We'll be free, and if you want to join us on a conversation, you're also free. Bye bye.